Ya da da dum bum bum body da 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 dum da 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 dum da 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 dum da dum da 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 dum dum da 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 dum body um bum 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 bum. Yes, yes, indeed. My name is Denise Matteau, and I am an addict. I have become addicted to a strong drug that is about to take the quilting world by storm. Cathedral windows. Oh my goodness, I spent all day wrestling with my fingers, and my usual opening. Hello, welcome, whoever, wherever, whenever you are, whyever you're here, however you got here. Thank you for showing up, and I hope you stay a while. And if you stay a while, I hope you also do all those good things. Subscribe, share, hit the button, tell your friends, post a comment, make the algorithm love me. Please. Anyway, and make my craft videos get better traction than my ranting videos. The only one I'm going to rant about right now is me. As I say, I got bit by this bug and it's taken over, and the algorithm, okay, it messed with my head. Yes, this is what the YouTube algorithm was doing. It was persuading me that I must be a cathedral window genius, because the only channels and videos it would show were all the very basic beginner videos that show the only cathedral window that appears in this book of, I don't know, 101 quilts, right? And there's only one cathedral window, and as you can see, it's the basic plain white muslin frame with colorful inserts. That's it. And that's all I was seeing. And I was thinking, isn't anybody trying to do anything? Well, finally, the algorithm got tired of messing with my head and started showing me what's really out there. I'm not the only person working with a whole range of layered cake squares. There's somebody else that shows a whole video, and I can't remember the name of the channel, but they're doing this with the scraps, with the various, sample colors, whatever. Okay. And then there was a channel that should have been the first thing shown to me when I was searching on cathedral windows. A channel whose name is Cathedral Windows Lab, L-A-B, the laboratory. And the lady who runs it has written books on cathedral windows. Her name is Valerie Valrosa. I think that's how you pronounce the last name. Her channel is very hard to understand because the audio is very soft, and she speaks English but with an accent, so between the poor audio and her accent, it's very hard for me to understand. But if you go to the description and you hit the transcript, you can see everything she's saying right there in text. So you get all the instructions right there. And she doesn't only do the cathedral windows that are familiar like this one. She does triangle-shaped ones, flower-shaped ones. I was thinking I was going to have to work something out with a Dresden plate to get a rose window, real cathedral window shape into a quilt. She's got a folded genuine cathedral window with multiple petals like a flower. I'm serious. Look up Cathedral Windows Lab. And when I went to Amazon to see how to buy some of her books, she's got several that show very different styles and structures of cathedral window. They're out of print. You got to go to some specialist bookseller and pay an arm and a leg. So, there you have it. Anyway, I proceeded to take it further because I've been watching various little block of the month things, and I joined the Alice's Wonderland block of the month group that's working off that book. I've been watching So Many Whatnots, a channel whose, I think the lady's name is Willow. I think she calls herself Willow. And that might be somebody else though. I don't know. But anyway, this one with So Many Whatnots is working off a book called The Farmer's Wife, another sampler quilt. And she does hand sewing and shows her hand sewing for an hour every day. So I've been turning that on, but then I've been working on my cathedral windows while having her sew in the background. And because of beginning to learn these different little tricks with the half triangle squares and making the star blocks and all this stuff, I came up with doing a cathedral window. See this one? See how it's different? It's made of small patches, 4-patched around one window pane. Having done this, and I spent most of the afternoon working this out, having done this, I realized the next step, obviously, is going to be full-on traditional quilt background. So all this simple checkerboard stuff, it's going to become, I'm going to have, one of my plans after I get a few of these done is to have the regular cathedral window block, you know, a regular plain one here, couple of half square triangles here, and here, and here, and here, making it a sawtooth star. And I could do things with hourglass or quarter square triangles, as they call them, or hourglasses. I can work all that into these designs, which means that the cathedral window quilt, once you get going, doing it with all those designs is not going to be that much more work than the original cathedral window quilt, because all the folding is the same, exactly the same. And everyone knows once you're good at it, you can throw 4 patches and half square triangles together in a heartbeat. So that's not going to add that much time to it. And you still end up with the result that I personally like, which is once it's done, it's done. You don't have to do the sandwich and the quilting and the binding. And so it's going to be 2 quilts in one. Anyway, that's where I'm going with that. And I had to come on to share my addiction. Where is it? That's on. This is a great book, by the way. I picked it up at half-price bookstores, and I think it's well, like I say, it's 101 full quilts. So the quilts that have a number of blocks to them, you get all the blocks. Okay, page 58, Cathedral Windows. Here we are. And that shows how tiny they are when you make a full-size quilt. But anyway, like I said, I'm going to town with this. And yeah, that's about what took up my day today. And of course, you know, looking at the crazy world going nuts and saying, well, I feel bad for the people right now. I guess there are some people experiencing some pretty bad cold weather. It's not that, you know, they keep saying it's going to get real cold down here. I'm not feeling any cold here. I don't even have my heater on. I'm on the Gulf Coast of Texas. And my neighbor even insisted that I take a plastic bag and be ready to try to protect my lemon tree because it's going to get cold. I'm like, oh, I'll wait until I feel the cold, because they keep saying it's going to get cold, but it doesn't. But anyway, yeah. So I'm gonna let y'all go now, and thank you for showing up. And definitely my invitation is still out there for people to get hold of me if you want to do something with Cathedral Windows. Now, I'm not so good at streaming. If you notice, I just do the talking head thing. I'm no good. It's a lot of reasons. I've had problems with somehow or other nasty malware getting into my system and making it difficult for me to use both a phone and a tablet. Right now I'm just using the tablet. And I have a lot of just organizational issues of trying to maintain my string of thought, along with trying to handle all the various things about bringing up a screen on the window and, you know, bringing other people in. And then I have the problem with the trolls coming in to trash the stream. So what I'm doing now is, if somebody wants me as a guest on the topic of Cathedral Windows, let me know. Because, as I said, this definitely is getting ready. I'm not the only person being bit with this bug. I could see that as I was going through all this. A lot of people have kind of, they've run through the scrappy quilt trend. They've run through the Black of the Month trend. They're looking around for something else. And I think Cathedral Windows is going to be that something else. And I think it's going to be a very good way for you to bring traffic. If you put on a show, say, okay, we're talking about Cathedral Windows, we're going to have Good Stuff Ninja on, and then also invite other people that are also playing with Cathedral Windows, have 2 or 3 people on, you get the traffic. I may get a little push on subscriptions on my channel. I'm not trying to build a media business. You know, I'm retired. I'm having fun. But some younger folks out there that are trying to turn your channel into a real career, you know, think about it. I just want to have fun, and right now that means having fun with Cathedral Windows. And I'm not an expert. I'm going to show off like I do with this. All the crazy mistakes I make in putting it together. And as we come across expert channels which give good tutorials, can shout outs to them, like to Cathedral Windows Lab, Valerie Valrosa. I hope I'm saying her last name right. I got a funny feeling it's not, but it's a VA combination of names. But anyway, and I don't know, I have a funny feeling that those videos have been up for a long time. And they haven't been getting the exposure they should have gotten. So, anyway, go out there and stitch, but don't bitch. Denise Matteau, over and out.